Far Cry Primal! Yeah. Hello everyone! Welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be reacting to one of the early uploads from a YouTube channel, the Game Theorist. I especially love this episode in which they're talking about because it's about Far Cry Primal. And yeah, I hope that you like this video as much as I do because I'm a huge fan of their work. This video came out in the year 2016, so I think it's around 5 years ago. Let's start.
Today's video uncovers connections in the Ubisoft universe that are so deep, even they don't realize it. Man, it's like they should pay me for this stuff. Oh wait, they are.
Oh wait, they are. Oh god.
That, my friends, is my tongue-in-cheek way of telling you that this is a sponsored video. Seriously, it's a paid video. But damn it, I think it's a good theory, so don't you be getting all prematurely self-righteous without giving it a chance. Aight. Let's theorize.
Let's go. I like it that their new videos, their new intro is a lot better than the previous video. Like that intro.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory.
Hello Internet, welcome to Game Theory. Hello.
I gotta admit, I'm a bit disappointed that Beast Mastery and Far Cry Primal has nothing to do with the Canadian TV series Beastmaster. I mean, look at this clip!
Well, give me the powers you gave my father.
Do you know what you have to do to get the powers? You can't do it if you're just a boy.
I'll do anything.
Hot and cheesy, just the way I like it. Also, that's Belle from Once Upon a Time for all you Disney fans out there. Fun fact. Anyway, enough about late 90s cheese fests. Let's talk about cavemen. Now, when Ubisoft first announced Far Cry Primal, I have to admit, I was definitely intrigued. And no, not just because they paid me to be intrigued, okay? I mean, think about it. This is an FPS franchise making a jump to prehistoric times. An era, mind you, with no guns, thus rendering the S part of FPS fairly questionable.
FPS being first player shooter. So without guns, it's questionable. Let's continue.
Pretty ballsy. Well, I guess you could say it went from FPS first-person shooter to FPS first-person survival. Have they used this in their marketing at all? No? Ubisoft, get on this! This idea is gold! But this isn't just any point in prehistory. This is set in the Mesolithic era. When human civilization first started to form, we warred with other clans, we began migrating out of Africa, and we started to domesticate animals for uses other than food. It's not a time period games explore all that often. Long gone are the days of Chuck Rock and Joe and Mac, my friends. And that opens the door to a lot of subjects I haven't been able to cover on the show, which is always really exciting. And let me tell you, after looking at those topics, from the game's beast mastery system to the migratory patterns of the world's first humans, I can tell you that Far Cry Primal, from a lore standpoint, may be the most important game in Ubisoft's history, as it serves as a prequel to literally every other major story it's been telling for the past decade. Let me explain. It all starts with the game's Beastmaster ability. Now, when it comes to animals in Far Cry,
Yeah, you can control them, right? You can. It's like a friend.
relationship has always been, what's the word? Murdery? But Far Cry Primal is a bit different. In this game, for the first time ever in the franchise, you actually have the ability to partner up with a lot of the animals in the world. And this makes a ton of sense. As I just mentioned, Primal depicts our world during the Mesolithic era, which took place between 10,000 and 5,000 BC. It was around this time that we, as a species, began selectively breeding animals as hunting partners, pets, and workhorses. And I don't mean that idiomatically. I mean literally horses that do work. In the end,
Literally, horses that do work. It's not like the figuratively workhorse.
and it was a system that benefited both sides. Humans were given steady sources of labor, food, and companionship, while animals like wolves, cattle, horses, and pigs were given protection, food, and shelter. Who hasn't wanted to command a rabid honey badger to strike fear into your foes? But then that begs the question, where's my little mammoth? Friendship is mammoth.
My little pony becomes my little mammoth, my little mammoth.
My little mammoth, my little mammoth. Well, only certain animals can be domesticated because they have to meet a list of 6 requirements. These are, in no particular order, not being picky eaters, reaching maturity quickly relative to the human lifespan, breeding while in captivity, not fleeing when startled, conforming to social hierarchies, and being docile once domesticated. This last one is actually why we can't have nice things like big cats and bears.
And one of the reasons why we domesticate horses instead of zebras.
They're still dangerous and unpredictable even if their play is well-intentioned. And mammoths are out because of point 2. They take 15 years to mature. By the time Takar, main character of Primal, had brought Manny the mammoth to maturity, he'd be dead based on the average lifespan of humans in the Mesolithic era. That's why I'll never be able to live my dream of cuddling up with a wildebeest familiar. Alas, 'twas not to be. So then...
Yeah, because in comparison to age, right? Back then, humans back then, they pass on quite quickly. Like, they die quite fast.
If we're not domesticating these animals in Far Cry, what is beast mastery? Well, while you may not be able to domesticate animals like eagles, tigers, and honey badgers, you can tame them. But what exactly is the difference between taming and domestication? Basically, taming is the act of conditioning a single animal to tolerate humans, to live alongside humans, or
Conditioning a single animal to tolerate humans.
or to even follow orders. It's behavioral modification of wild-born animals, teaching against their natural instincts.
Conditioning a single animal to tolerate humans, teaching against their instincts to attack or avoid people. So there's a difference between like domesticated animals to tamed animals. The more you know.
To either attack or avoid people. Basically, it's bribing them with food to be our friend. It's like what I did in middle school to all the 8th graders. I knew those Oreos my mom packed would help my social life, and they did. Taming, then, is obviously different from domestication, where over the...
Alright, don't do that, it's bad. We are humans, don't do that to each other, come on!
course of generations, we selectively breed out the hostile instincts of the animal. And while some species aren't suitable for domestication, like big cats and bears, they can be tamed with enough time and patience. But again, there's the key word. Time. Look at how we master our beasts in Far Cry Primal. Throw some bait, wave your hands around, and say, "Nah man, I cool, don't bite." That's cave speak, obviously. And then
He's like, nah man, I cool, don't bite. One more time. Nah man, I cool, don't bite.
animals are all like, "Cool, love me, okay?" In the real world, this sort of
Cool, love me, okay? Cool, love me, okay?
and training would take an entire lifetime, where people take a baby animal and condition them as companions. So, do we write this off as just a video game logic? No.
Has most advanced suit that can survive falls from space. Can't swim.
Oh, I don't think so. And here's why. In the game, Takar chugs some blood, chunky style, chunky blood, and goes on a drug trip, which just goes to show, kids, never drink blood from strangers.
The more you know. This message brought to you by the Anti-Blood Drinking Society.
Message brought to you by the Anti-Blood
ABDA.
Drinking Association. Also, never expect to get through a Far Cry game without taking a drug trip. Anyway, this takes him on a spirit journey where he follows an owl spirit that appears to give him the power of beast mastery. Once he snaps out of his hepatitis-induced hallucination, he suddenly can tame animals instantly. It's a cool skill and definitely comes in handy throughout the game. But get ready to have your mind blown, because even though it's the first time we as the player are able to control animals for our own use, Takar isn't the only beast master to appear appear in the series. Other Beastmasters have been hidden throughout the previous games, and we've just never noticed. But take a minute to rewind to Far Cry 4, and the Royal Army and Royal Guard Hunters. These guys have the ability to instantly charm wildlife into attacking you in an instantaneous, almost magical way. Sound familiar? Well, maybe that's because they themselves are Beastmasters. Don't believe me? Look at this. These foes communicate primarily through whistles. And how does Takar summon his animals to come do his bidding in Primal?
They will do this. I'm so sorry. Wow. That's impressive. I'm not gonna do that.
You guessed it. Through a simple whistle call.
I'm trying.
And that's not all. One of the biggest reasons hunters in Far Cry 4 were such a pain was because they're so stealthy and could track you seemingly through any cover. And that was an intentional design decision. These enemies had the special ability to see through foliage to track you, the exact same skill Takar demonstrates thousands of years earlier in Primal. Oh, and by the way, their primary method of attack? Bow. Takar's? Also bow. But speaking of bows, let's take a look at another enemy set from Far Cry 4. Here we encounter two versions of the Rakshasa. In the Shangri-La
Rakasa.
missions, which are dreams, by the way, these guys are mystical, memories of possessed warriors of legend from a long time ago. The other Rakshasa we see in the game are modern-day fighters, a warrior class re-established by the game's villain when he read and was inspired by the Shangri-La lore. These guys are noteworthy because they attack with a weapon known as the Hunter Bow. Notice the signature look, with the two sticks overlapping in the middle. Now, let's take a look at some early footage for Far Cry Primal. Notice how Takar makes his bow two sticks overlapping in the middle. And what's the bow's official name in the game? I bet I don't need to tell you, but I will anyway. The Hunter Bow.
Oh wow! So it's actually their descendants. Wow! The more you know.
And if that wasn't enough coincidence for you, you know what else the Rakshasa have the ability to do? Attack by summoning animals. In short, what we have here, loyal theorists, are more Beastmasters. So what exactly am I saying here? Well, I propose to you that Far Cry Primal is the prequel in a connected universe, and that Takar and his tribe are the direct ancestors to the enemies you see in later installments in the franchise. The Beast Mastery skill we see bestowed upon him by this owl spirit gets handed down across thousands of years and hundreds of generations to the hunters and Rakshasa you see in Far Cry 4. But not only the ability to instantly tame animals, but also their knowledge of crafting bows and skill with using them, as well as their ability to miraculously see through foliage. But there's also cultural traditions that we see get handed down. Look at the body paint on the Rakshasa warriors in Shangri-La. Broad strokes of color clearly applied by the fingers in shapes across the chest and arm.
Yeah.
And now look at Takar's tribe mates in Primal. Admittedly, we don't get to see much since this is still early footage, but notice the broad strokes of color applied to the chest. It's very possible that this cultural tradition was handed down across the generations. And I hear your skepticism, it's just a bunch of color smeared across your body, it happens everywhere, right? But that's not exactly true. You see, Far Cry 4 is set in Nepal, on the border of China and India. Here, body painting tradition is very much housed in henna tattoos, intricate drawings on the skin where the ink is a paste made from the leaves of the henna tree. And you actually see this in Far Cry 4. Look at the arms of our friends, the hunters. You can spot the intricate henna tattoos drawn on their bodies. But the Rakshasa warriors of legends, the ones from Shangri-La, these are a people from a much older time period, one closer to their ancestral roots.
Oh my god, oh my god, maybe I just pay attention to this kind of different tattoos, body paints. Wow.
This older form of body painting shown on the mystical Rakshasa warriors originates from elsewhere, from a different time. Takar and his tribe. Which brings up one final question. Location. Far Cry 4 takes place in Nepal, but clearly Primal isn't happening in the Himalayas. So what's the connection? Well, remember, Primal depicts the earliest human civilizations. This is right after the Ice Age came to an end in 10,000 BC, when humans were just starting to migrate out of Africa and form settlements elsewhere in the world. Let me pull up this migration map. These arrows show the early migration routes of human civilizations. And if you look, you'll see that two go right through southern Asia, right across the border border of India and China, which is exactly where we just said Far Cry 4 and the other Beastmasters can be found. Takar truly is the first in his lineage, and the skill we see him receive from the gods is one that gets passed down across generations, ending up in the Far Cry
It's passed down from hundreds of generations, thousands of generations.
games that follow. But oh no, it doesn't stop there. In an earlier Ubisoft video, I outlined my theory that the company has been building one giant connected universe across all its games, connecting Far Cry to Assassin's Creed to Watch_Dogs. You should watch it if you haven't. I'm still waiting on that Rayman connection, by the way, Ubisoft. Get on that. But based on all this evidence we've covered today, Takar may play an even bigger role in all of Ubisoft's games that we know of. He isn't just the ancient ancestor to some of Far Cry's enemy types, the Hunters. He's the ancestor to one of the main protagonists in the Assassin's Creed series, none other than the star of AC3, Connor. First, let's go back to the migration patterns. We know that Connor from AC3 is of Native American descent, meaning that for him to be a descendant of Takar, Takar's lineage would have had to have migrated from their location in southwestern Asia to North America. And looking back at the migration patterns, that's exactly what we see. You can see that North America became populated by human colonies originating in southwestern Asia, exactly where we pinpointed the Hunters coming from. We also know that Connor's preferred weapons are the tomahawk and the bow, just like the bows the Hunters used before him. No, it's not specifically the Hunter bow, but remember, this is multiple millennia after Primal, so
Multiple millennia, you know. It's not centuries, it's millennia. Multiple millennia.
technology and weaponry probably has evolved since then, I would hope. And not only that, he too has the ability to see through foliage and focus on certain items in his environment using his eagle vision, a technique very much akin to Takar's hunter vision. And finally, bringing it all the way back around to where we first began, there's Beast Mastery. In the DLC, The Tyranny of King Washington, Connor gets the ability Alpha of the Pack, which allows him to instantly summon and command a pack of wolves. He unlocks this ability within himself after drinking tea from a red willow tree, causing him to have a vision and visit Skyworld. Sound like our favorite caveman's blood trip adventure? You bet it does. From there, all we have to do is connect the dots. Connor is an ancestor to Desmond Miles from the AC games. He's also the son of Hatham Kenway, who is himself the son of AC4's Edward Kenway, and so on down the line of assassins that we all know and love. And based on that last video I mentioned, it also pulls in Watch_Dogs and other characters from the Far Cry games. In short, if this theory proves to be true, Primal has given us the origin story for all the plots Ubisoft has been spinning over the last decade of gaming. We are seeing the birth of one man who has created one of the most prestigious family trees in all of gaming. And
Oh my god, Taka is awesome in these games. My gosh. Now the question is, who is before Taka? Monkeys? Just saying.
that is really exciting. And to think it all began with one guy drinking some chunky blood from a skull. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to keep working on training my little mammoth. Manny, no! Down! No, I am not a toy! Put me down! Put me down, Manny! But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
I really like it that he actually make it sound that he's very far. It's like, but hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. It's like very far, very far, very far. It sounds far. It's awesome.
God, it's so hard to find good mammoths these days. Sorry about that. Anyway, one final time, I'd like to thank Ubisoft for their sponsorship of this video. If you want to learn more about Far Cry Primal, click here to check out that game's trailer. Or maybe you'd rather check out the connected Ubisoft universe video I mentioned before. If so, shoot your hunter bow right through this annotation. It outlines how Ubisoft is to video games what Marvel is to movies these days, building a huge connected world that will one day yield an epic crossover game.
Oh, he's talking about Infinity War and Endgame. Can you imagine the snap? It's like, I am inevitable. Then, and I am Iron Man. Ooh, snap.
I swear it's coming. I'm not just wearing a tinfoil cap or anything. And just to give you a preview of coming events, next time, the dating sim video. I kid you not, it's finally here. And speaking of Marvel,
Yes!
if you'll excuse...
Okay. Yes, definitely, yes. As a gentleman, yes. Definitely not. Yes, you know. It's not like I've been waiting for so many years. I'm just saying.
Me, I just saw Deadpool and I gotta do a film theory about it. Any film theory, oh, so awesome. This is me happily skipping away from the microphone to go do research. Skip.
Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. If you do like this video, please consider to like and share and subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you have anything to share with us. Comment down below! And yeah, the video that I just reacted to came from the YouTube channel, The Game Terrorists. And yeah, their videos are awesome. Do check them out and show support for them as well. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching this video. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.